Our presentation today will be on the next generation POS acquiring solutions, basically focused on the POS terminal solutions for banks and non-banks implementations, and what is the future has to offer. Quickly introducing Bitel. Bitel as a company in Korea was established in 1992 as a technology innovator. We were the first to offer the two-way pagers back in the 90s in Korea, and then by the evolution of the payments industry, we started to offer the first infrared and RF communication POS terminals. And then by the 2002, we were the first to introduce the world's first ever two-SIM POS terminals, which is still the world's unique POS terminal in offering, having two SIM cards, switching between them automatically for the very challenging markets of the Middle East and Africa. We have an R&D center certified by the government of Korea and several manufacturing facilities, and this is our main manufacturing line. Bitel EMEA, as I mentioned, is the distribution arm for Bitel in the Middle East and Eastern Europe and Africa region. We have a regional hub here in Dubai, in UAE in Dubai, in Jumeirah Lake Towers, and we have a support office in Cairo and a support office in Russia. Based on Nelson report, the worldwide publication in the e-payments that has been issued for the past 41 years, Bitel ranks the first in the Middle East and Africa by the number of chip terminals in 2010. And you can see that the growth rate here is not comparative at all to what is following us. And globally, we rank number 9 with a continuous growth rate as well, unmatched by any of the competition. So we are doing, thank God, very well, and that thanks to the quality and the innovation that we are offering on our products. In Bitel, we pride ourselves on offering the solutions based on flexibility, quality, efficiency, cost efficiency, and innovation, and we will come to cover how we're addressing each of these dimensions. To the topic of the presentation on the next generation POS acquiring solutions and what is the future of the POS acquiring business, there are several advancements offered, and they are basically based on different layers of the value chain of the acquiring business, starting from the device itself, moving to the server-side application, and then to further the value-added applications, and then infrastructure-related solutions. Sorry. Starting by the device-based enhancements, the world now is seeing that, as I mentioned, the two-SIM POS solution, which has proven to be a magical word for POS solutions in Africa and the Middle East. In some of the countries we operate in, mobile operators data coverage can go down for more than 48 hours. That means that this terminal, this point of service, can go offline for 48 hours. By having our dual SIM technology, the POS automatically switches from one operator to the other, maintaining a 99.99 availability. We actually in Bitel have run a pilot project with Visa International in Russia with 5 acquiring banks, and the result is that the availability of the network has increased from 68% to 98.9% in the pilot phase. Thanks to the two SIM technology and the availability to switch automatically between the two SIMs. Basically, that guarantees a higher availability and accordingly higher transaction rate and accordingly more returns. The second feature that we can see in the future POS terminal solutions is the built-in contactless readers, evolving from the external contactless readers that is usually wired to the device, which excuse me, which is sometimes not practical to handle, and of course implies extra cost of the external reader, because the external reader will have to have its own processor and its own memory and so on, and its own LCD and so on and so forth. By having it implemented built-in, that saves a lot of investments on the implementing entity, whether a bank or a government entity accepting contactless payments for the transit sector, for example. And one of the interesting trends we're seeing on this as well is contactless is not only now based on cards. We can see contactless implemented in tokens like key fobs and mobile stickers. You can just have a phone with a mobile sticker. We can, like this one, a sticker stuck on the back of the mobile that can act as a payment device or an identification device for any form of payment. Either it's a normal purchasing transaction or a payment for a transit transaction like metro and bus and so on and so forth. Having this device built in actually saves a lot of money and a lot of implementation hassle, so that we do not have to integrate the external reader with the POS device whenever we decide to make this integration in the future, because the device is already native. The third advancement on the device side is having the PDAPAAS platform. This is a new concept where basically two industries two verticals are intersecting together. So by having one device like this one, it's a Windows-based touchscreen PDA, all functions of PDA, plus all the features of the payment device as well. So for verticals like the government sector, for example, the traffic police in so many countries is using this device. On top of my head, you have Germany and the USA. They're using this device to collect payment fines, tickets, traffic tickets for violating cars, either parking incorrectly or violating speed. And in the same time, they can collect payment for this fine using the payment function built in this device. The device also has a built-in barcode scanner, camera, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPRS, two-SIM technology as well. And it has been used for other industries and other verticals like the health, for example. For the healthcare services providers, they can have this device. So doctors, instead of having a full PC and a printer and barcode scanner or card reader, they just have one integrated concealed device. They can read the medical history of the patient visiting him, and then refer the patient or have some medical data logged on the on his medical profile using this device, which is very convenient and very small to handle. Although using the barcode scanner, physicians can read the samples of or the results of the lab investigations and radiology investigations and log it to the medical profile of the patient. Also, this kind of device has several intersections with other verticals like the sales and distribution business. So a company like Pepsi, for example, is distributing products on their customers. They are taking orders on devices like PDAs, but at the same time, like they are putting the products out from the truck to the customer. They can collect the payment via the payment function embedded in the same device. So that instead of going back with a bag of cash, like what's happening now, they can accept the payment via electronic payment method on the same device, which definitely results in better integration and more value to the distribution companies. There are so many other implementations for this Windows-based device because it's an open device, so integration and implementations are limitless. And on the fourth point of the device-based enhancements is the actual ability to customize the device for the customer branding and requirements. So one of the examples we have is actually the other terminal on the desk there. It's black, red and black. These are the colors of Société Générale Group of banks, and it's represented in Egypt by NSGB Bank. The issue in some of the markets, there is very tough competition between acquirers. In the Egyptian market, for example, there are 6 acquirers. So in order for Société Générale Bank to generate more revenue towards his own terminals, being one of the biggest issuing banks in Egypt, he has basically given his cardholders a special bonus, so that if they buy on the NSGB terminals, they will get discounts. But how would the cardholders identify that this merchant has NSGB terminal? Sometimes some merchants in Egypt have has 3 or 4 POS terminals from different acquirers. So he has changed the branding of the device so that it can be recognized as an NSGB terminal, and this has made the NSGB cardholders push the traffic towards their terminals, not towards other acquirers' terminals, and that has resulted in a very obvious change in volumes of NSGB's acquiring volumes at merchant locations. Some other customers has actually implemented the branding for the terminals in order to enhance the brand equity of their operations. So we can see one of the companies, the other companies, is a bill payment and electronic bill payment and presentment company in Egypt, and they have implemented this branding in order to enhance the value of the brand and recognition of the brand among the consumers. On the second side of enhancements, advancements, we can see the server-side applications advancements, starting from fully remote control TMS system. And in this side, I mean, usually the standard implementation of TMS systems is that the POS would dial a central server to request updates. In our implementation on the solution we are bundling with our terminals, there is a solution that we can access the POS terminal remotely in the field to push the updates that we want to send, not to wait for the POS to request the update. And that has basically has reflected in a lot of value to our customers in several markets. So instead of having to send someone in the remote location of the merchant, you can basically access this terminal remotely in the furthest side of the country we're serving, without having to leave the office, updating the application, adding keys, adding parameters, up to formatting the whole POS remotely. The second side feature is POS monitoring and alerting. Again, this is also a feature that only Bitel is offering so far, but basically by having this feature, it's for the first time in the POS business, banks or customers in general can see alerts and notifications on the performance of the POS. So if the POS goes offline or POS behaves in a special manner, they would get notifications. So for the first time in the business of POS or the operations of POS, you can start to have proactive customer service. You do not need to wait for the service to get interrupted and then the merchant to suffer and then to call the help desk. This system basically sends notification directly to the operators or the help desk and notifies them that this POS is having problem so-and-so before even the merchant feels it, because there is an always online connectivity with the POSs, and we can sense this kind of problems. The third point of the advancements that we're seeing on the POS business is the POS reporting solutions. By implementing a special middleware between the POS and the acquiring host, a lot of data can be gathered and a lot of data intelligence could be provided based on the traffic that is passing. Basically, the card data is always masked in order to comply with the PCI standards. But based on the data gathered, the bank can see information like volumes spent by merchant, by duration, by group of merchants, in a volume spent for a special card scheme, for a special issuer, the amount of the declined transaction. All of these transactions could be generated from this middleware in a very simple and direct business intelligence reports. And finally, we have the Esignature repository, where basically the signatures at the merchant side, instead of having to print 2 receipt copies, consuming paperwork and consuming time in the transaction, we have implemented a special solution with one of the biggest supermarkets chains in Russia called Oshan. In this implementation, basically, we use a special POS terminal that accepts signature on the screen. So we print only 1 copy of the receipt to the customer, and we maintain the other copy in a huge repository or an inventory of electronic receipts that the store can maintain, all compliant with the PCI standards, of course. That has resulted in savings of few seconds per customer in each transaction, but these few seconds would result in a huge significant effect on the volume of business this vendor is doing, this merchant is doing, because the throughput in the hypermarket business is very, very critical. Actually, this slide has the other 3 features we've discussed. This is the monitoring solution. We have a geomap monitoring where the VIP merchants would be spotted. If they go offline for any reason, they would turn red. We have other system-based monitoring on the performance of each POS. We have the report generators for all the performance and functions of the POS and the transactions that have been performed. And the TMS system with remote control capability on all the terminal assets all over the country we're serving. So when the volumes actually exceeds the 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 POS terminals, it's a nightmare to maintain these terminals in the market via manual labor. So you have to have these automated systems in order to reach the terminals in the market without having to send individual labor to each terminal to update the application for it. The next group of advancements is the value-added applications advancements, where the standard function of a POS for accepting payment has been exceeded now by having a processing capacity and storage capacity and communication that could be used for more functions, starting by merchant-based loyalty solution. Sorry, and this is a very, again, unique mode of serving loyalty. Usually loyalty was always based on issuers. Issuers issue cards, and these cards, whenever they are used, they are gathering points. In our solution, we are gathering points for using the card, any card, on a POS, a specific POS terminal of a special bank. So regardless of the issuer bank of your card, you will gather points as long as you are using my bank's network of POS terminals. That is basically targeted towards enhancing the volumes of acquired transactions on this network of acquiring bank. And it's indifferent towards the card because the card is a unique identifier for each customer. The fleet management system is basically a solution to manage the fuel spending for corporates, where a POS terminal is placed at petrol stations, and then a special card is issued to the employees of a special corporate, and using this card they can buy fuel from these outlets of petrol stations, use it without having to pay cash or use coupons, which is a big area of abuse and fraud and costs corporates a lot of their budget. So by implementing these solutions, it was found that corporates can save from 10 to 15% of their fueling expenses in general. And finally, we have the generic e-voucher engine. It's a solution where basically the POS, in addition to accepting payment cards, could also issue e-vouchers. E-vouchers used for top-up, for internet cards, for Wi-Fi access, for e-commerce and m-commerce transactions. This is a very basic implementation, but the simplicity is was key in its success in so many markets, having a generic e-voucher engine. And finally, the fourth group of advancements is the advancements related to the infrastructure of processing the transaction. So having the ability to link the POS directly to the scheme, card scheme. We have done this implementation together with one of our partners as Bitel. We have done it in Russia. We have linked our POS directly to Visa. So the transaction goes directly from the merchant to Visa, saving time, cost, and one more failure point in the transaction. That was done for a merchant with a very high volume. It was a very sophisticated implementation to have the POS talk to a system as huge and as sophisticated as VisaNet of processing. But we have done that. That was the first, the region first implementation ever. That was done in Russia. It was launched 3 months ago. And the second implementation is similar to the first, basically, but it's for MasterCard, and it links directly to the MasterCard Internet Gateway, directly from the POS to the Internet Gateway, bypassing the bank, generating faster transaction, cheaper transaction, and a less failure point in between. That was briefly the advancements that we're seeing in the domain of the POS business. Very quickly, I will take you to the products that Bitel is offering that has fulfilled and implemented all these advancements. We have a range of products. Some of them are countertop, basically based on the desk implementation with no portability. And we have other portable products. These are the portable products, starting by the Flex 5100, the IC 5100 and Flex 5100. These are the most compact and most versatile POS terminals we can see in the market now. Again, they are the only products in the world having the 2 SIM features, and that again has resulted in significant service enhancement in Middle East and Africa, and resulted in so much stability in the performance of the merchants of some of the countries in the Middle East. I can share more information about these case studies individually after the session if you want. We also have the Flex 7000 and the Flex 7100, which is basically the one I have discussed. It's the Windows and the PDAPAAS. It's the hybrid product between the PDA business and the POS business. linking the other different verticals of health, government, distribution and sales, logistics and field services, courier with the payment industry. And this is our range of desktop terminals, starting from the IC3100, IC3300, IC3200, and our Flex 6000 pin pad. It's a smart pin pad with card readers, a magnetic card reader, and chip card reader that is integrated usually to electronic cash registers, so that you don't have to have a separate POS. It's integrated with your cash register as a merchant, and it can accept all the payment function and handles all the payment function without having to put anything on the electronic cash register that this merchant or this outlet is using. Excuse me for being quick in presenting, because I'm limited with the time duration, but please feel free to visit us at stand 6 after the session if you'd like to discuss any of the points I've mentioned in more details. Of course, all of our products are EMV Level 1 and Level 2 certified and PCI certified. In the pipeline, we're offering several new products. So this is the Flex 7100. It's a Windows-based device that is IP rated and accepts payment via the contactless interface, has barcode scanners 1D and 2D, and is EMV Level 1 and Level 2 certified when used with card readers. This is also a new product. It's the Flex 8000. It's an EPOS, or it's a 15-inch EPOS used for hospitality in this sector, and it has built-in integrated payment. That's magnetic stripe and that's chip, and here's the integrated printer, so that you don't need to have an external POS device in order to accept the payments. It's the same device used for hospitality, could have this built-in feature. And this is one of the very innovative products we're having. Actually, I can show it to you on the booth if you want. It's a fully touch-screen device. This part is detachable and communicates wirelessly with the base. Base has a printer and a wireless communication module that connects to Ethernet, dial-up, or GPRS. And it has been specifically designed to be compact on the request of the Japanese market, because the Japanese market has small counters and the size actually matters to them. This device is Linux-based, so it's very flexible in development and very versatile in terms of its capabilities and modules. This is our sign pad or signature panel, where you can attach it to the POS and accepts the signature electronically. So instead of having to print on a paper receipt, you can sign electronically on this sign pad, and then the signature with the receipt information are uploaded online to the receipt repository we have discussed, and then the merchant can always maintain his receipts in electronic format, not on a paper format. We have integrated with so many host vendors, like these are samples of them. And we support, of course, the ISO and the rest of the protocols used in the payments in the banking and non-banking industries. That was very, very briefly and quickly what is Bitel offering, and the solutions that we see as a future generation of POS solutions in the coming few years. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And if you need to discuss anything in more details, we'll be at stand 6 just across this stand. Thank you very much.